Hey Sainers, hope you've all had a great weekend. Welcome to another episode of Saints TV Weekly. Another week, another Saints TV Weekly. I just want to give a quick plug to Grumpy Cafe, one of my favorite local cafes going around at the moment. This is a large almond latte and they do a fantastic job. They're not sponsoring this video, but I thought I'd just give them a quick plug and just let them know and let you guys know that they are bloody good. So if you're a coffee connoisseur like myself, not really a connoisseur, but I'm just coffee addict probably is the better word, then yeah, hit them up because they do a great job. Now let's get stuck into the latest news from St Kilda. Alright, first things first, before we get stuck into the news, I do love my coffee, but I love it even more in my St Kilda mug. Can't have a Saints TV Weekly episode without the saintly mug. Again, a lot of news covered over the last 7 days down at Moorabbin. You'd think that with the off season that things would kind of tone down, but over the last seven days there's been a lot going on and some good news, some trade news, some questionable ones there, but nonetheless some news. So let's get straight into it. Bloody good. That is the way to start a Monday, honestly. Couldn't do it any other way. Alright, so we'll kick off with some good news. Obviously, last Friday, the 2021 Trevor Barker Award was held. And to be honest, I thought the club did a great job. I thought considering, with lockdown and players in different locations and trying to stream it, I thought they did a great job. The stream was really crisp. The highlight reel was great. I thought Nicky Dell did a great job as one of the co-hosts. And then obviously the interviews were pretty good too. And the players seemed to be pretty open and transparent about their years and where they want the club to go and where they see the club going. So I thought that was great. So congratulations to everyone in the marketing team and just anyone that was associated with organising the Trevor Barker Award. I thought they did a great job. Now in terms of the overall count, it just was exactly the way we thought it was going to go. I think most of my predicted top 10 that we talked about on the podcast was on there. There were a couple of surprises. We'll go through the top 10 now. Jack Steele, number 1, obviously, 234 votes. Jack Sinclair, number 2. I thought that was really good to see him rank that highly. 155 votes, so it was a good, 89 votes off the leader, but that's Jack Steele for you. Number 3, Tim Membry, 136 votes. Number 4, Cal Wilkie, 124 votes. Equal 5th, Brad Crouch and Brad Hill, 120 votes. And then Seb Ross, 117. That was a surprise. Dougal Howard, 112. Jimmy Webster, 105. And Max King rounding out the top 10 with 101. And then additional award winners, Jack Sinclair won the Robert Harvey Best Clubman Award, which was fantastic. Always wins this award. The Lenny Hayes Crest Player Award. Max King Best Emerging Player. And Jack Steele again, Dare Sainter of the Year. Overall, great night. Worthy award winners all round. And kudos to the club for organising and getting it done. Now for last night, Sunday night, 7:30, 2021 Brownlow Medal was held, and if you don't know, maybe you do know, I did my Brownlow predictor a couple of weeks ago, and I predicted that Steele would get 32 votes. Steele polled 26. The 6 votes that I was hoping he'd snatch just didn't go his way, and they were questionable. In particular, the Adelaide game where he finished with 34 disposals and 12 tackles, no votes. But Rory Sloane got a vote with 19 disposals. So you wonder how that even happens. I think there was another game, round 15 against Richmond. He had a dominant game again, but I think he was ranked number 1 player on the ground. Luke Dunstan obviously got the 3 because he got the medal, the Jack Dyer medal. But Jack Steele got 1 vote and Paddy Ryder got the 2. And that's another interesting take for the Brownlow is that Luke Dunstan polled 11 Brownlow votes. We don't know if he's delisted yet. On Friday night, the club did not mention him at the Trevor Barker Award. Not even a word, not even a whisper. I don't even know what he finished in the top 10. I feel like that's why Seb Ross or Brad Hill potentially finished top 10 is because they couldn't bear to have someone like Luke Dunstan, who's on the out, finish top 10 in the Trevor Barker Award and in our top 2 players on Brownlow nights. So that's a really interesting scenario, and I'm curious to see what happens with Luke Dunstan, because we announced delistings earlier in the week, and those were the ones that we predicted. For us, that opens the door for more trades and maybe looking at getting a tall backman in. And there is some rumours going around on who that might be, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. In terms of other news, this is a good get. This is a very good get for the club. I don't know why I do that. I build up to the news and then I take a sip and I pause on it. Maybe that's just to build the tension, but I've got no idea why I do that. We're welcoming Corey Enright to the club as an assistant coach in charge of defence. Who would have thought that we could get an actual defender as the defensive coach? Genius, St Kilda. Genius. I love it. He is very highly regarded. He's been very successful at the Cats. Obviously, they've been a very good team for pretty much every year they've ever existed. He was a 6-time All-Australian, a superstar half-backer as well. He knows the inside and out of defensive structures and what makes a good defence. And he worked alongside Matthew Scarlett at Geelong as a defensive coach as well. So it would have been good to snatch both of them, but we got one. And Matthew Scarlett, I think, is rumoured to be leaving as well. But nonetheless, he's worked with Scarlett. He's played with him. He's a gun himself when he played. He's got a lot of experience under his belt. And I think this is going to be one of those appointments that we look back on hopefully at the end of next year. And we think, geez, our defence was bloody good this year. I wonder why. It's like, we got Corey Enright and that's why. And I like that it's specialised. You know, we're not getting another coach that was good at midfield and shoving him into a pigeonhole and making him do defence. We're getting a defensive coach. I hope we go for Robert Harvey as midfield coach, or Lenny Hayes, or someone like that, someone of that build that can really focus on the mids and drive home, knowing that they were a mid when they played. And Corey Enright can do that with the defence. So I think that's a great appointment, along with Nick Walsh we got as the high performance coach a couple of weeks ago from GWS. So that's another appointment to go with it. So that's 2 there in the coaching staff that we've appointed in the last couple of weeks. They both look like experts in their field, and I think they're going to help us grow and hopefully get back into finals contention come 2022. Now, some more good news. Again, don't want to toot my own horn, but this was again predicted on Saints TV Weekly last week, although it was pretty common knowledge by that point. Jack Billings and Paddy Ryder have signed on. Jack Billings for 4 years, which is great. End of 2025, I believe, which is a fair extension, but rumoured to be on around 450 to 500,000, as opposed to the original contract he was on, which was around 7 to 750. So he's taken a significant pay cut, and I think that's great. That shows that he's around for success. He wants to earn his next pay rise. And it's not just about the money. So I love that, and I love that the club stuck to their guns, offered him that. So that's what you're getting. You're getting 4 years, which is good, but it's going to be on reduced salary. He took that, that's great signs, because JB, he's frustrating. We know that. We always compare him to the Bonds. We always look at those sort of things, and we look at the Bond last night, and he almost won the Brownlow. Billings hasn't featured in our Brownlow count really at all in his career. So this is a time to get moving. He's 26. He's hitting the prime of his career. He's now got 4 years guaranteed at the club. There's no excuses for him now. So I'm really happy for him to sign on. But if he grows next year, that's again another reason why I think we as a club will grow and become a stronger team. The other one, Paddy Ryder. We knew that was going to happen, another year for Paddy. That's really exciting. He can come on board, team up with Rowan Marshall for hopefully 1 more year. It'd be good to get another ruck in that he can tutor and grow into that second ruck role with Rowe. Whether that's Max Heath or someone else remains to be seen, but I think that's on the cards for the club. But to have him going on for 1 more year, given how important he is to our structure and our overall performance when he does get on the field, is amazing. The only caveat is we need to get him on the field, and fingers crossed he can stay fit, because if he can finish his career on a high, get 15 to 20 games out of him next year would be unbelievable. But just to have him around the club again for another year, and as a support for Rowan Marshall, or even just as a ruck coach at times if he can't play, I think that's massive for us as well. So really happy with those 2 re-signings. So that's always good news when you can lock in a couple of important players. Now for the latest trade rumour. So I love my trade rumours, and last week I did release that we were looking at Chol from Richmond, and it was really between us and Gold Coast, and a lot of people thought, well, that's a load of shit because he's going to Essendon. Well, Apparently he's going to the Gold Coast, so I'm not wrong. I said on my post, it's between us and it's between Gold Coast. A lot of people messaged me afterwards and said, Jake, you said he was coming to St Kilda. Now he's going to the Gold Coast. You're wrong. Your sources are shit. No, I said it's between us. It's between the two clubs. Read the captions carefully. It wasn't, he's coming to St Kilda. I didn't say that. I said it was between the two of us. And if anything, I had a feeling he was going to go for the Gold Coast anyway, because that's where his family is. So it doesn't make much sense that he was going to come to Moorabbin. I just thought, well, we're pushing pretty hard for him. We're offering him a good contract. But at the end of the day, he put family first, which is totally fine. And it was expected that he was going to go to the Gold Coast anyway. But it would have been nice to get him. I think he'd bring very good X factor for the centre square bounces, and he's capable of going forward and hitting the scoreboard. But nonetheless, we do have another option. And that option is 22-year-old Nathan Kruger from Geelong. 196 centimetres, 93 kilos. Not as a ruck. This is a different trade rumour. But more as a key back. And I feel like this is why maybe Clav was delisted, because we've got guys like Kruger that have played in the back line in a pretty good team in Geelong, only for a handful of times, but nonetheless is fully capable and proven himself. He's got a bit of speed about him. For a big guy, he's actually quite fast. And he's very physical, and he's got room to grow, being only 22 years old. So I think we've actually offered him a contract. I believe, this is what I've heard, I believe we've offered him 2 years plus a trigger for a third at around 350 to 450k per season. That is what I've heard. I know that Collingwood are also very interested in him, and they've also been interested in him for the last probably 24 to 36 months. They just haven't, either for one reason or another, haven't gotten it done. But I'd love for us to swoop in, get him on a good salary, not too much, and get him in as a 22-year-old, and he can really go and support Dougal Howard, being 196 centimetres. We don't have anyone around that size in the backline. Even Josh Battle, who's rumoured to potentially go back and play centre-half back next year, to find a position, basically. He's only 193 centimetres, I think. So they have Kruger there, is 22-year-old, 196. How big is he? 93 kilos, so fairly big boy. Would be great, and anything to just pinch another one from Geelong. Geelong are already struggling to retain some of their youngsters, so if we can help them sink a bit quicker, I'd be all for that. Now, the only other trade news, it's not really trade, it is trade news, but it's a bit disappointing, is that I was a very big advocate on Hayden McLean and getting him from Sydney. I thought that he'd be perfect like for like with Rowan Marshall, but unfortunately Sydney have bitten the bullet, and they've re-signed 4 of the youngsters: McLean, Stevens, Fox, and Gould. And obviously McLean is very important to them, and a player that they didn't want to lose. So that's another one off the ranks for us. So we've missed out on Chol, we've missed out on McLean. I think Talia is rumoured to be going to potentially Richmond or Essendon. I don't know. So we're not probably going to go for him, which I think a lot of people are relieved with, because they didn't want us to go for another aging, injury-prone defender. And I think maybe Kruger could be, a good other option there, but it remains to be seen. But I believe we've offered him a couple-year contract on 350 to 450, so we'll see if it gets done. But yeah, these things change by the day. But I'll keep you posted. So there you have it, Sainers. A nice, short, sharp Saints TV Weekly to kick off the week. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Just a heads up that during the week there'll be another video dropping in the lead up to the 2021 Grand Final between Western Bulldogs and Melbourne. I will be ranking my top 5 St Kilda finals. So keep an eye out for that. Around Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be dropping on YouTube. And for everyone that's watched the last couple of weeks of videos, whether it's Saints TV Weekly or Why I Love St Kilda, that video was received really well. And obviously the Brownlow Medal prediction video of Jack Steele, they've all reached over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views. Got a lot of subscribers in the meantime, so I really appreciate the support, guys. And again, a quick shout out to anyone that's watching this video that loves the content that I deliver, is a Saints fan, maybe isn't a Saints fan, whatever. If you haven't subscribed, just hit the subscribe button and join the crew, and you'll get notified of all of my future videos. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next week on another Saints TV Weekly. Cheers, guys. Go you mighty Sainers.